Talk Sports International Service covers every
a deep cross. It's 2 for Meunier. Well, like London buses, the goals are now pouring in for Steve Meunier.
Get involved in debates, ask in-game questions to our commentary team, and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Here's Gale. Good shot, goal! Dwight Gale's put Newcastle level. Crisp low shot from the edge of the penalty area. Low pass, Schmeichel in a flag.
This is Premier League Live.
Crosses to Olivier Giroud. Equaliser for Arsenal. And as so often, Olivier Giroud off the bench to rescue Arsene Wenger.
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league. Premier League Live. Brought to you by TalkSport Live.
The TalkSport £1 million predictor game involves the two things in life you love the most.
Football and money.
Exactly predict 10 or more Premier League scores and win £1 million sterling.
The TalkSport £1 million predictor game.
Register now at talksport.com/predictor and play for free throughout the season. Win £1 million sterling.
£1 million.
Players must be 18 or over. See talksport.com/predictor for full conditions.
Hello and welcome to TalkSport's coverage of Tottenham Hotspur against Manchester City from Wembley Stadium. I'm your host Tom Rennie. Alongside me is the former Derby County, Norwich City and Manchester City midfielder Lee Croft. You're listening to Premier League Live. Tottenham are on a club record 14 Premier League games unbeaten. They last went 15 top-tier games unbeaten in 1967. So not the kind of opponents you want to face when you've lost 3 times in just over a week and got knocked out the Champions League in controversial circumstances. But that's exactly the task that faces Manchester City today. A loss and it's 4 defeats in a row for the first time in Pep's City career and only the second time for him ever. It would also mean an even longer wait to confirm themselves as champions, something that Guardiola has said his players should not take for granted. Here's the teams then, starting with Tottenham Hotspur. Danny Rose ruled out with a minor calf problem he picked up against Brighton. Harry Winks and Kyle Walker have got injury problems, so they are not in the matchday squad either. Kyle Walker-Peters, that is, for Spurs. So Hugo Lloris in goal, back 4 left to right of Ben Davies, Jan Vertonghen, Davinson Sanchez and Kieran Trippier. Eric Dyer will hold in midfield. Eric Lamela preferred to Heung-min Son in the side today. Moussa Dembele also in the 11 in midfield with Christian Eriksen, Dele Alli and Harry Kane. He scores when he doesn't, playing up front. The subs bench is Son, Wanyama, Vorm, Sissoko, Aurier, Lucas Moura and young Keziah Sterling, who's a young striker. For Manchester City, a few changes for them. Fernandinho suspended after 10 bookings have been picked up in the Premier League season. Sergio Aguero has got a knee problem. No Mendy and no Stones, who are longer-term absentees. Ederson in goal. Back 4 left to right of Fabian Delph. Walker, Ilkay Gundogan holding in midfield in the place of Fernandinho, with David Silva and Kevin De Bruyne completing the midfield. Up front, Raheem Sterling and Leroy Sané supporting Gabriel Jesus. Bench, Bravo, Bernardo Silva, Otamendi, Zinchenko, Yaya Toure, who spent the entire season sitting on the bench, with Phil Foden and Brahim Diaz. And perhaps abuse-laden return it might have been if this was back at the old White Hart Lane, which is being redeveloped, and I was over there fairly recently, and it looks so impressive.
Yeah.
The job being done, though how it's going to be done for August is anyone's guess. City look to get the first attack of the game going. Ball's intercepted by Jan Vertonghen and cleared upfield towards Harry Kane. De Bruyne steps inside his own half and gets City back on the ball, and it's over the top towards Raheem Sterling. Hugo Lloris read it well. Ball in yellow, out of his area. Lobs the ball downfield now to play.
Just looking at the Tottenham team, like we were talking about Son not playing, but the riches they've got, Harry Kane, Dele Alli, Eriksen, Dembele, they have got a really good attacking options, haven't they?
Yep. Which is why people are questioning why they haven't challenged for the Premier League title, why they didn't get further in the Champions League, and why there'll be further questions if they get knocked out the FA Cup next week with the semi-finals on the horizon. And that's a game you're going to be able to hear with our international partners. Huge game in the FA Cup coming up for Spurs. Both semi-finals live for you next weekend. 5:15 UK time, I think. United against Spurs next week on the Saturday. Chelsea against Southampton on the Sunday. Leroy Sané trying to play a ball through the gap to the runner, Gabriel Jesus, but it bobbles through to the goalkeeper Hugo Lloris. Seeing any after effects from the week for Man City so far, Lee?
No, I mean just still trying to get a foot in the game. Both teams trying to settle into this one. I think Sané on the ball there, give it away. I think he's been disappointed the last couple of weeks after, similar to the team, having a great season, and just hasn't done it for me in the big games recently.
Yeah, plenty of questions about the guy on the other side as well, Raheem Sterling. He left some real sitters last week against Manchester United in that shock loss.
I think that was ultimately, what cost them. I think they could have been.
He's Sterling now, though, found by Silva, cross towards Leroy Sané, the back post! Oh, he's hit the post! Tremendous effort from Sané. Volley on the outside of the left boot. Lloris didn't even move.
Just as we're questioning Sterling and his end product, he puts a great ball in there. Great volley from Sané, and he's so unlucky Manchester City don't take the lead there.
Brilliant play from David Silva and Raheem Sterling. He is onside. Davinson Sanchez on our monitor, we can see, just playing him onside. It's great technique, isn't it? Outside of the boot, trying intentionally to curl it away from Lloris, and doesn't even bother moving. Dead centre of the post and away.
Yeah, good effort from Sané. But I think that's one thing what's been levelled at, Sterling a lot. He gets into great positions, and sometimes, the end product isn't there, but on that occasion it certainly was.
We've already had some fantastic games in the Premier League today. Those that were with us earlier on for Crystal Palace against Brighton. It's that stage of the season where we're getting entertainment, we're getting goals, we're getting teams knowing they have to get 3 points. Look at Huddersfield today, 91st minute winner against Watford. Early goal for Man City here would really have been very important to settle them down away from home, but it hasn't come. Spurs still level pegging. Good challenge there by Trippier on Sané, just inside the Tottenham half on this near side, but City are back in possession. Aymeric Laporte, who's playing in the centre of defence today, alongside Company, preferred to Otamendi. Stones injured. Didn't quite work, the left-back experiment, did it?
No, not really.
I wonder why he did go with it, as opposed to Zinchenko or Fabian Delph, who was fit on the game midweek.
I'm not sure. I think Mendy's probably going to be his first choice full-back, left-back, but with his injury, I think he played a game for the EDS team on Friday night, so he's close to a comeback.
City coming forward here, edge of the area. David Silva, cross block, breaks to Kevin De Bruyne, right hand side. Ali is with him. Vertonghen intercepts the cross on the edge of the 6-yard box and looks up towards Harry Kane, who flicks on ahead of Vincent Kompany, but no one's running on for Spurs. And City, with 5 minutes gone, have just got Tottenham penned back a bit here. Challenge then on Sterling by Davis after a slight miscontrol from the City man. Gets Spurs back in possession. Lloris will go long up towards Lamela on this right hand side. Good win by Fabian Delph. Not afraid to go long, Spurs. They do the Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp play it out thing, but of all the teams up there, along with United, they're the ones that aren't afraid to get it up to the big man.
Yeah, to mix it up a little bit. I think you very rarely see the likes of Manchester City just shelling the ball long. But yeah, Tottenham they can mix it up. They can play out from the back. They can play the balls long up to Harry Kane, and that can be a good avenue for them.
City coming again, left-hand side. Leroy Sané with some good chest control. David Silva on the overlap on this left-hand side will receive the ball, and he's away from Trippier, and it's cut back towards De Bruyne, and it's really good defending by Dele Alli back there. Getting a strong challenge in. Finds Lamela on this right-hand side. Tries to take on Fabian Delph. He's a feisty character, Lamela. Dispossessed by Fabian Delph. Swung a boot at Fabian Delph, I think, there as well, but the English makeshift fullback was able to shake it off before Laporte gives it away to Dembele, who himself plays a really poor ball. Laporte then intercepts it, knocks it straight into touch on this near side. Mistakes everywhere.
Yeah, a little bit sloppy. I think Manchester City will be the happier of the two teams now. I think they've started with a lot of intent, and they look to, be putting that hangover firmly behind them.
If only getting rid of a hangover was as easy as that. Not like now. Sure, professional. Here comes Spurs from the throw. Dyer finds Dele Alli on the edge, left-hand side. Dele Alli shot blocked by Company. Alli and Harry Kane both having a bit of a shout at the referee, John Moss. Not sure whether they think he was fouled from behind there. We're getting a replay on our monitors now. Just shuffling away from Sterling. I've no idea what they're complaining about there. Corner's taken short. Wembley on its feet. Davis with a loop ball in towards Vertonghen, won well by Kyle Walker. Sterling then nods further away. Dembele will pick it up, and Davinson Sanchez will volley all the way back to Hugo Lloris, keeping Spurs in possession. He's on the edge of his 6-yard box, Lloris. He waited for it. And a high ball to Dyer, could have controlled it, flicked on to Gundogan, gives it away. Then Silva's round the corner to Raheem Sterling, and Sterling, he's up against two Spurs defenders. And that is a truly woeful effort by Raheem Sterling, always going wide and always going high, and that's a waste there.
Yeah, it is. I think he finds himself in so many positions, where you think, go on, this is a right chance, but he's so wasteful at times. But with the amount of goals he's scored this season, it's just a question to imagine how many he would have if he could just touch up on his finishing.
If he could shoot. Yeah. A lot of these goals are the result of some really great running into the back post, and often a nice interplay. Not too many times he really has a great strike goal. I remember Everton early in the season where he had a wonderful finish there, but certainly is something Raheem Sterling, though he is obviously working on, hasn't mastered as yet. Here's someone that has. Kevin De Bruyne with a flashed effort from the edge, and it's gone just a few yards wide.
Yeah, I was just expecting the net to ripple there. What a strike. He's such technically gifted, isn't he, De Bruyne? He can make something out of nothing. Silva plays in the ball here, and what a strike that is. Inches wide.
It's a couple of times now they've gone close. Manchester City, what an effort there by De Bruyne. Not asking any questions, though, of Hugo Lloris in the last minute when they really should have done. Has De Bruyne just got off the boil a little bit the last 4 or 5 weeks?
I think so, yeah. I think he's disappointed me in the big games again. The 2 Liverpool games. I think they cope with him brilliantly. I think mainly down to the high pressing of Liverpool. We were talking off air, weren't we, about teams who want to be successful against Man City. They have to do that. They have to high press. They have to stop them getting in any rhythm. And I would expect Tottenham to have seen them games and try and implement that tonight.
Approaching 10 minutes gone here on Premier League Live. Tottenham 0, Man City 0. An uncharacteristic high ball there played by City, intercepted by Kieran Trippier in the right back area for Tottenham, and they're back in control of it. Lloris then tries to fire one out to Davis, who is beaten to it by Walker, and then with the ball in the air, Davis is shoved into the back of his former teammate, and that's a free kick to City on the right hand side, midway inside the Spurs half. It's a sloppy old 10 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been sloppy. I think City will be the happier, but it's just kind of gone a bit stale at the moment. I think going back to what you were talking about De Bruyne then, I think for the people who were they were umming and ahhing whether De Bruyne or Mo Salah was going to be player of the season, I think that quarter final I think probably will have swayed people towards Mo Salah, because he was obviously devastating, and I just think De Bruyne didn't have too much of an impact on either game.
I'd imagine it's going to go Salah wins the football writers, and De Bruyne wins the one voted by the players.
They've already voted.
They all voted about 4 months ago, because it's stupid. As Sterling charges down the right hand side, gets away from Davis. Davis holds him up by the end line on the right from an attacking perspective. Davis then puts a toe in. That's a corner for City. It's good play by Raheem Sterling.
Yeah, he's on the front foot, which is you always like to see your wingers attacking the fullback, trying to get him behind him.
Vincent Kompany, who scored that brilliant header last week against Manchester United, is in the area around the penalty spot. He's the target here. It's over his head. Gundogan will retrieve it. Another goal scorer from last week. Can't get away from Dyer, and Spurs can counter here if Trippier can pick out a pass. He's trying to find Eriksen, and Ederson is all the way up on the halfway line to hoof it away up towards Hugo Lloris. A big sprint back now from Ederson. Spurs can't get the ball rolling quick enough to cause him any problems. They do work it to the halfway though. Good pressure from City to stop them. That's a poor ball then from Davis, looking for Harry Kane. Intercepted by Kyle Walker of Manchester City, who releases Gundogan, who's running from right to left on the halfway line. His pass finds Laporte down the left channel to Leroy Sané. Back to Laporte again. Has he impressed you, Laporte, since the move in January?
He's been alright. He's not set the world alight, but I think he's come in and done well. You know, he's played in some big games and performed well, but you know, for the amount of money you're buying players for, then you do expect a lot of them, don't you?
Yeah, £57 million he came in for. And there are plenty of people asking whether he gets into City's strongest team, as Eriksen looks to play one in from the right-hand side towards the run of Harry Kane. Intercepted by Kompany, then Laporte is chased down by Eriksen. His release ball towards Delph hits the Dane and goes for a throw on this near side.
So that's what they need to do, Tottenham. They need to put pressure on Man City, you know, in the defensive half, and you know, you will win balls back, as we've seen over the past week or so.
Delph's throwing down the line. Jesus jumping with Trippier. Knocked down the line towards Lamela for Tottenham. Delph and Laporte then combined to win it back. Laporte's got it on the end line here and will clear it long with the right boot up towards the halfway. Davis chests it right into the path of David Silva. His first time ball towards Sterling. Well read by Jan Vertonghen there. Another error by Ben Davies, who's had a rough old 12 minutes here for Tottenham Hotspur. Sanchez under pressure, finds Trippier on this near side. Early clearance straight to Fabian Delph. There will be a break though, because Trippier was caught late there by Leroy Sané, and that's an error from the young German, because the trap had worked. City were back in possession, and he's given away a soft free kick.
Yeah, it's sloppy, you know. Yeah, look at that, he's just left a little bit on him. Didn't have Sané down. Oh, he stood on him, hasn't he? Just going to say, I didn't have him down as a dirty player, but he's left one in on him there.
Yeah, taken 4 of the 6 studs on the top of the boot there, Kieran Trippier, but he's got the leather boots on, not the silly socks that some wear these days. Suarez wears them. I mean, I'd have liked to get almost military grade boots on. I think it's dangerous, those studs.
Yeah, they are. You know, some of the boots these days, you know, they're so light, there's nothing to them. It's like, you may as well go out and play in a pair of socks.
I suppose it's alright if you're an attacking player, but Trippier, I mean, strong leather. And make them black as well. Let's bring them back as well. Maybe that's another reason why everyone loves Harry Kane. He's always in black boots and white socks.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
On the right hand side, Kyle Walker in the bright orange boots looks to check inside Dele Alli. Can't do so. Ball ricochet back to Gundogan. 15 minutes gone here. City have had a couple of moments. Spurs, despite all their attacking talent, have done almost nothing going forward so far, but it is still very early as Ederson plays Delph into trouble. Then a poor challenge by Lamela gives City a free kick. And you talk about players that are or aren't dirty. Lamela's filth, isn't he? Every game there's at least 2 or 3 late challenges. And that's another one.
Yeah, to be fair, I think you need players like that though for me. You know, players who are going to put the foot in, they're going to hurt the opposition, they're going to, you know, let them know that they're in for a game. I think there's too many of these tippy-tappy players these days.
Is that why he's in front of Heung-min Son, do you think?
Could be, yeah. I think, you know, out of the 2 of them, he probably is the one who will leave a bit in. He probably is the one who, you know, the defend. Well, I think football-wise, the defenders are going to know they're in for a game against Son. But I think, you know, off the ball and defensively, he probably will give you a little bit more.
Scrapping in the midfield here. Has broken to Spurs. Dembele finds a release out left, and a lovely shift away from David Silva brings Tottenham away from Dembele. Eriksen gets in his way. Dembele then just pushes him off it and says, "Give this to me because you're having a bit of a mare here, mate." Finds a release ball. There's a few Spurs players just not quite warmed up yet.
Yeah.
Eriksen, another one of them. Davis with the throw into Christian Eriksen. Switch to Eric Dyer. A chip out right towards Trippier, overlapping. Early cross from him. Lovely ball in, cleared away by Laporte. towards this near side where Dyer will not let De Bruyne have it. Really good challenge. Hits Kevin De Bruyne aloft, and that'll be a Spurs throw, and that gets the fans at Wembley on their feet.
Yeah, it does. When the game starts as it has, a little bit scrappy, just a challenge like that from Dyer, it can really bring the place to life.
Spurs looking better here with Vertonghen up over the halfway line, running into Sterling and finding a chip out right to Trippier. Trippier inside to Lamela, back to Dyer. Spurs on the ball for the first time in the match in City territory. Not easy to keep City back, but they're doing it here with Davies. Looks for Ali down the line, blocked by Kyle Walker. Throws Spurs left hand side, better for Maurizio Pochettino's team.
Yeah, it's the first time we've really seen him on the front foot, going attacking Man City and making them do some defending.
Ali chips it back to the centre circle where Davinson Sanchez will leave it to Dyer. Into Lamela and back to Dyer. City pressing, Dyer back to Sanchez, who loves the ball back to the keeper but doesn't this time. Gets away from Jesus and finds a ball left to Vertonghen. Much better from Davinson Sanchez. Left to Davies. First time in field to Dele Alli, who's away from the challenge of Gundogan and finds Eriksen. Eriksen to Kane. Kane trying to find shooting space. Good challenge on him by that Premier League veteran Vincent Kompany, and then Dyer. Well, he read the situation well but pushed over De Bruyne and gives a free kick away.
Yep, Dyer again, tight on De Bruyne. De Bruyne's clever though, he just waits for the challenge. Little nudge past him, wins his team a foul and a little bit of a respite.
I do love to watch Vincent Kompany defend.
Yeah.
Think about when he caught up with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang in the Carabao Cup final when he was through, and may not be as quick as he once was, obviously, but just reads the game so well and just knew what Harry Kane was going to do.
Yeah, it's just, do you know what? Defensively he's brilliant, isn't he? He's so clever, but not only does he bring that to the team, he brings the organisation, and the players look to him for leadership, and he's a massive part of Manchester City.
Good to see him get plenty of football this year. Again, a season where he's not played every single week, but has certainly proved to Pep Guardiola that he has a future at the club. This is 15th Premier League start. Along with Champions League and Cup competitions, a decent return for Vincent Kompany. At the other end, it's City coming forward here with Silva to Sane. Finds Sterling in the penalty area, who goes down, claiming for a penalty. John Moss says no. John Moss then gets hit with a crossfield ball from Ben Davies. I think that was just a poor ball from Davies. I couldn't blame John Moss for that. And luckily for Moss and Davies, City didn't give a free kick away.
Yeah. I think some players, they look at the referee, but he's not invisible, is he? You know he's there. You're going to smash the ball straight at him. You can't blame him.
He's 5 yards away.
Oh no!
You couldn't even give a penalty for that if it hit his arm. He was so close.
Big ball.
Kevin De Bruyne, first time on the turn down the right channel, finds Raheem Sterling. Running at Vertonghen. Raheem Sterling in the area, back to Gundogan. Shot blocked by Davinson Sanchez. Good positioning again from the young defender. It goes over the top for a corner.
Yeah, I think I was watching there. Sterling, he made a great run, great ball from De Bruyne. He looked up. There wasn't too many options in the box. It was clever from Sterling. He just waited, picked a pass out to Gundogan on the edge of the box, and it looked like a decent effort, and it was good defending for Sanchez.
20 minutes gone. Tottenham 0, Manchester City 0 on Premier League Live. Second corner of the night for City. They whip it in. It's away by Dyer on the penalty spot as far as Fabian Delph. Good control from Delph. Finds Walker to his right. Leaves it to David Silva. Square ball to Gundogan. Centre of the field. Finds Silva out right. De Bruyne is on the wing. Here he is now. Up against Lamela. Here in De Bruyne. Turn of pace. Drops the shoulder. Chips it in. Over everyone's head. Zane will pick it up on the left-hand side. Trippier is with him. Infield to Gabriel Jesus. Turns Davinson Sanchez. Once but not twice. Good recovery challenge, and Spurs will counter, will they? Poor ball from Trippier straight to Fabian Delph. Zane into Silva, back to goal. He turns and finds a ball infield to Gundogan. Intercepted by Eriksen, but it breaks to Delph, who is under pressure here. He's done well. Was falling over for a second, but recovered and found a ball back to Laporte on the halfway line.
Yeah, just a little bit sloppy again, Tottenham in defence. I think Manchester City putting them under pressure. They win the ball back with some good defending, but just give it straight back to City and say, right, come and attack us again.
Delph into Gundogan. Gundogan rights to Kyle Walker. He'll find Sterling. First time in field to Kevin De Bruyne. Back to Sterling again. Good challenge on him by Davies. Walker steps across Ali and gets City back in possession. Crossfield from Company to Laporte. First time back to Edison, his own 6-yard box. Gundogan first time back to Vincent Company, who's now facing forward, ball at feet. Kane for Company, chips it over the top towards Gabriel Jesus. Jesus onside, Jesus bearing down on goal! Jesus scoring a goal for Manchester City. It's Route 1 from Pep Guardiola's team, but very, very effective. And Jesus gives them the lead on 21 minutes. Tottenham 0, City 1.
Yeah, I think, you can class it as Route 1, but, I think we've got to give Vincent Kompany some credit there. The players are applauding his ball there. Great ball out in the back. Something we probably don't expect and don't see too much from Vincent Kompany. But he looks up, spots Jesus' run, and what a ball that is. And, he had the pace to get away from Sanchez, and you would have put your house on him finishing that one.
Excellent finish from Gabriel Jesus. Super ball from Company as well. Jesus scores his 10th goal in the Premier League this season in just his 15th start.
Just what they need in Manchester City, after this week, good start here today at Wembley, and to take the lead after just 21 minutes, it stands them in good stead. They'll get a bit of confidence back now, and hopefully go on and show us what we've been missing this past week.
He only scored performance last week from Gabriel Jesus. It's the first game he's been involved in the Premier League that he's lost. The one against United last week. Incredible, actually, I thought. Great finish from him there.
Yeah, great finish. I think, going back to Company there, you mentioned how good he is at defending, but I think that was one question mark. What a lot of people, put on him was, is he going to suit Guardiola's style of play? Is he going to be able to play out from the back? But, I think he's probably, tried to adapt to what he wants. He wants to stay at Manchester City, and he'll do whatever he needs to do. And I think that was just another case of that there. He's looking up, he doesn't just shell it. He picks out a lovely long ball, and, City take the lead.
A little bit of news from Saturday's action from the Championship, the second tier of English football. Wolverhampton Wanderers have been promoted in the last few minutes. They are up with 4 games to spare after Fulham drew at home to Brentford, so they can no longer finish any lower than second in the Championship, which means Wolverhampton Wanderers are back in the Premier League. Won 28 of their 42 league matches in the second tier so far this season. Still got 4 games to go, and I don't know if you've seen much of them this season, but they are a tremendous footballing side, as are Man City, who are coming forward here. As Jesus has played it around Lloris. He's found Jesus, and there's a penalty given by John Moss here. There was a ball down the left channel. It released Raheem Sterling, who flicked it away from Lloris, and Lloris, I think, just pulled Jesus back, did he?
Yeah, it was definitely a penalty. There's question marks for me, with the rules. He's given the penalty. I think Sterling has intentionally passed that ball. Has he give advantage there and then he's been tackled? Do you then pull that back?
I think that looks like an advantage in case he put the ball in.
Yeah, just in case.
So it's a sliding tackle. We're getting the replay of it now. It's a sliding tackle where he's taken Raheem Sterling out with the ball gone, but it is a clear foul. Takes Sterling out the play, and Hugo Lloris gets a yellow card for his efforts, and it will be Gundogan to make it 2-0 to Manchester City.
Oh, great penalty.
And it's a superb penalty from Ilkay Gundogan. Goalkeeper one way, ball the other, right in the side netting. 2-0 to Manchester City.
Yeah, could be game over. Don't want to talk too soon, no. But I think
you weren't here last week, were you?
Exactly. But we had a Man United game, but they've started brilliantly, and I think Lloris, it's a silly challenge really, and it gives Manchester City a great platform.
It's a great penalty, isn't it, from Gundogan?
If he goes the right way, he doesn't save that. In off the post.
And in the blink of an eye, Manchester City have snatched this game away from Tottenham Hotspur. The question would be here, we're just seeing another replay. I think that foul is outside the area, and I would say it's a couple yards outside the area.
I was just thinking the same thing. It looked like he's took him down outside the box, for certain there.
Well, I'm glad they're not doing VAR next season, because, it might stop silly mistakes like that from happening. There's a high ball from Spurs. He's flicked on by Harry Kane, trying to find Dele Alli. Breaks to Lamela, but his back is to goal. Dyer chips it out left, trying to find Davis. And Kyle Walker wants to shield it out of play. Davis has done well. He's knocked it against Kyle Walker. Walker then recovers. Well, Spurs here will be shell-shocked, won't they?
Shell-shocked. They need a response. I think they need sharpish. I think Manchester City more than dominant here. Spurs haven't really started yet in this first half.
Really hasn't been a vintage Tottenham performance thus far. What do you put that down to? Is it the fact that they don't feel like they're going to get caught. They've got the Cup semi-final next week. I mean, this is not the Spurs we're used to seeing here.
No, could be a number of factors.
Davis comes forward, he finds Lamela. And Lamela can't flick it through to Christian Eriksen at the vital moment, and City will look to break away.
You know, they might have the mind on that cup game, but I don't know whether I'm sure they wouldn't be so stupid to think that, it's all over and no one can catch them yet. They want to make sure that Chelsea can't make no ground on them.
Yeah, of course, it was a great performance and result for Chelsea earlier in the day. We'll break in play here because Vincent Kompany has gone down away to our right. There was some complaints about maybe a late challenge on him during that melee a few minutes ago. I'm not sure it's a muscle problem or something like that for Vincent Kompany. We're seeing a replay now. It was Ben Davies and him colliding, and
that didn't look nice.
Maybe just took a little start on the shin there, Kompany.
Looked late.
Seeing a replay of it again, just kind of. Is that an accident? Do we give him the benefit of the doubt on that one?
Yeah, I think we'll give it that. Company's not happy with it though, is he?
Yeah, he gets up pretty quickly and has a few words with Davies before going back down again.
I don't think Davies has intentionally gone into to hurt Kompany there. I think sometimes just momentum takes you into it.
Well, we heard this week from the Premier League saying they're going to be doing further, quote, advanced tests about VAR for next season. Only done 13 tests in English football in this entire season, whereas, the Bundesliga did it for an entire season and ironed out some of the issues. MLS does it fantastic as well.
Yeah.
I just think we either do it or we don't.
Yeah.
I don't understand what this pussyfooting around is.
Yeah, no. To be honest with you, I think, the majority of games that I've seen where they've used it, I think they've come to the right decisions. You can't question that. I think the only question mark on people's mind was that, maybe it was taking too long to sort out. People didn't know what was going on. The players were waiting around for too long.
But how are you going to get better if you don't do it? I don't understand.
It's not. You've got to persist with it.
Just utterly gutless from the people in this country running the way football is run, be it the PGMOL and the referees and Mike Riley, be it the Premier League and the Football Association. They've all got to come to a consensus, sure, but I mean, this is outside the area. We're seeing a replay again. There's no way it's a penalty, and it's 2-0, and it could be 3-0 here. Sane's bearing down on goal. Really good defensive work by Davinson Sanchez, showing a lovely turn of pace to catch up with Sane and get a late tackle on him. It is going to be a corner, though.
Yeah, that's no easy feat. Sane's got a few yards on him there. Sanchez gets back superbly well, and it makes a very important tackle.
Shaq gets in touch on our TalkSport Live and said, I agree that should not have been a penalty, but in the last couple of games it's gone against City. I agree, mate. You're absolutely right, shouldn't have done, but it did. Maybe you could argue City are out the Champions League because officials got major moments wrong. There's a lot more to it, but
well, I think if that second goal's awarded, in that second leg, I think they're in with the right chance, aren't they? Second half, only need one more goal.
I mean, Sellers offside for the first one at Anfield. Sterling should have had a penalty in the first one at Anfield. Sane's goal in the second leg should have stood. I mean, Liverpool still played great. I get all that, but you don't want games decided on things like this. And this game may now have just died and gone in City's favour because John Moss couldn't keep up with it. Assistant has not helped him.
And the decision's been wrong.
And it's wrong. It's wrong decisions.
But then, like you say, the only thing that's going to cut that out is the VAR. But
don't need it, mate. No, we don't need it.
Yeah. But it's teething problems, isn't it? That's all it is.
We're 13 games. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous they're not doing it. Absolutely spineless. Well, but we are going to do it in the second round replay. Oh, great stuff. That's really going to help everyone out.
Why quit and just give up on it rather than working it?
I'm sure there'll be plenty of Spurs fans maybe coming round to that view. 2-0 they trail against Manchester City. 30 minutes gone on Premier League Live. Goals from Jesus and Gundogan, just a couple of minutes apart. Spurs got to get in this game in some way. I don't think City have been great here.
They've not had to be, have they? Very lacklustre from Tottenham this first 30 minutes.
Vertonghen away on that far side from the challenge of Jesus into Dele Alli, who's dropping crazy deep just to get involved in the game. Lloris up to Vertonghen, finds a ball left to Davis, who plays a 1-2 off Kyle Walker's legs. Luckily for him, it breaks back into his path. Here's Dembele over the halfway line at last. Tottenham Hotspur finding Eriksen. Crossfield from Ericsson is behind Lamela, but he's recovered it well. Lamela breaks nicely for him. Good effort too. Wide though from Eric Lamela. It just opened up nicely for him. No one from the City defence come to close down. Maybe he should have done better.
Yeah, I think he should have done better. He had a bit of time. You know, someone with his quality, you know, you've got to be looking for him to hit the target there. Just drags his shot well wide. But at least they've had an effort, eh?
Well, it's about time. It is about time. Really surprised at the lacklustre display from Mauricio Pochettino's Spurs here. Barely seen Harry Kane at all in the 32 minutes of action. Well, Vertonghen has then intercepted a high ball from Company, and looks
like he's injured himself there.
He's knocked it out of play and he's holding his hip. Could be a bit of a problem. He's holding his right hip, isn't he?
He's not comfortable.
There's absolutely no challenge on him there, Jan Vertonghen, as he knocks it out of play. He's defending here. Jesus back to Sterling, finds Jesus, then Walker, then Sterling. Flipped forward by Walker towards Sterling, intercepted by Tottenham, breaks to Kevin De Bruyne. Ericsson then gets back to win it back for Spurs, but he's been hounded out. And Silva finds Sane, cuts it back to Silva. Saved by Lloris to his left. Breaks right to Jesus, gets away from Vertonghen, but Vertonghen gets a last-ditch challenge in, and that's a corner to Manchester City. Where on earth are Tottenham Hotspur here?
Great play, you know, great closing down by De Bruyne. I'm not sure what Sane was trying there. Bit of a sloppy ball back, but it dropped to Silva. Lovely strike, good save, Lloris.
Now on the right-hand side, another corner to Manchester City. Again, De Bruyne fires it in, it's low, won't find Sane. Can Spurs break away? Ericsson and Dembele carry it forward, left to Dele Alli. Still going Spurs, but City getting bodies back. Forward to Lamela, can't get away from Walker, and I mean, it just isn't the free-flowing Spurs we're used to seeing. It seems like for some reason they're lacking a bit of belief in what they can do, which I don't understand why.
I don't understand why. You'd think at any point, you know, playing against Manchester City, this is a great time to play them. As I say that, Vincent Kompany shells a 60-yard ball into touch.
Classic commentators curse from Lee Croft. Kompany shanks one into touch. Spurs have a throw. Trippier wants to take it. Dyer receives it. Back to Dembele. Typical bustling run forward. Finds the ball right to Dyer. Gets away from Delph, but Dyer. He's offside on this right-hand side, looking right across the line. Not sure that was actually a pass to him there from Dembele, like he just kind of overran it a little bit. Oh, that's a shame that. That's a real shame for Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, it's sloppy. I've been, on the receiving end of a few rollickings for, being offside and looking along the line. There's no excuse for that. Rollicking's not a swear word, is it?
Well, I hope not. You said it twice.
As I said it, I was thinking.
I think you're fine.
I'm not allowed to say that.
I mean, that in many ways is what we say when we're trying to avoid the swear word, which we of course won't mention because we're professionals. Sort of. I'll give you a right good rollicking at half time. I think Spurs could do with one as well from Pochettino. Kane finds Trippier down the line to Lamela. It's nowhere near Lamela. The angles are all off, aren't they, at the moment for Tottenham? I'm not sure that the lineup that's been picked today has worked.
I just think, the way things have gone for City at the moment, they need to keep attacking, they need to keep on top here. They don't want to sit back because we've seen so much, where they've been on top of games, and let them slip. They can't let that happen again here tonight.
Tottenham in the centre of midfield with Christian Eriksen. Silva is with him. It's back to Vertonghen. Walker for company. Still hobbling around Vertonghen. He's played back to him here, but he doesn't want it. Vertonghen then releases another ball into Eriksen. Outright to Trippier. Lamela on the overlap. Here he is now, Lamela. Trippier again is outside of him. Running at Zane, running at Delph. Here's Trippier. Bit of a blind alley there from those two, but they are in possession still. Tottenham back to Eriksen. Dyer then will find Dembele square. 10 minutes until the half-time whistle here. Dembele right to Dyer. Just running a bit of gas, aren't they, Tottenham, at the vital moments?
Yeah, just look like they're lacking ideas at the moment. I think City seem quite compact defensively, and Tottenham's really struggling to break them down. Getting any...
and ball into Dembele there. He's moved away from Jesus, kind of smacked him in the face with a trailing arm. No free kick given. Spurs continue to come forward. Cross from Davis finds Ali, flicks off the top of his afro.
Great play, Sane.
And then he turned away from Trippier and then just knocked the ball into touch. And now John Moss is having a bit of a chat with Kieran Trippier, who wanted to confront the referee. Well, maybe he felt his shirt was tugged there by Azane, I'm not sure.
I think he's done really well, Trippier, this year. I think, watching both him and Walker out on the right hand side tonight, I wonder if he will go with that 3 at the back and Walker, in the summer with England, they'll go with Kyle Walker in the 3 and Trippier right wing back.
I mean, I don't want to turn this into a how much I don't rate Gareth Southgate conversation. However, if you've got the best right wing back in world football, which we may well have in Kyle Walker, why would you play him right centre half? It's madness. Like, I'd rather turn Trippier into the right centre half
and keep your
and keep Walker as the best at it. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
Spurs coming forward down Walker's side here. Lamela gets away from Company, then Company dives in. Ball's gone out of play. John Moss says no penalty. Lamela, he's slack-jawed. He can't believe it. Spurs fans unhappy too.
My first instinct was penalty, but we're just seeing the replay now.
Well, that's a penalty, isn't it?
Looks like it.
He slides in, misses the ball. Lamela's got there first. Makes very minimal contact, but he does get the stud on the boot. Which is why he doesn't go down like he's been injured. He goes down and turns around and says he's got me there, hasn't he?
Yeah.
That should be a penalty, I think.
I think so.
And I think Lamela could maybe be commended for not making too much of a meal of it. Who said VAR? Stop screaming it, all right? I can hear you. I can hear you in Africa. I can hear you in America. You're all screaming it. I know. I want it. Premier League 2 afraid. Walker down the right channel to Sterling. Back to Walker again from Raheem Sterling. City. Well, I wouldn't say they need to take the sting out of the game, but they have just been caught up a little bit by Tottenham, who've improved their performance in the last few minutes or so. Couldn't have got much worse, to be fair. Gundogan in the centre circle. 5 minutes until the break. 2-0 City lead. Controversially, I think it's fair to say. Delph into Silva, back to Delph. Good play on this near side. Over the halfway line now is Fabian Delph. Releasing Leroy Sané, running up against Trippier. In field comes the German winger. Cuts it back to Delph. Delph chips it outright behind Sterling, but he's recovered it. Davis then looks to challenge him. It's poor. It's poor from Davis, though, isn't it? It's a bouncing ball, a slight miscontrol. He thought he could nick it. He couldn't nick it and bring Sterling down. That sloppy play from the Spurs full-back is a real stinker of an opening 45.
He's not had the best half, has he? I think Sterling miscontrolled it. It's bouncing. He's too tight on him there. I think Sterling's made the most of it, as most players do, but no excuse from Davis.
Yeah. Another Spurs man who's not on his game today, and it's a free kick in a dangerous position. It's around about 8 yards away from the attacking right corner of the penalty area from a City perspective. 2-man wall for Spurs. Dele Alli goes over to join now to make it a 3. John Moss lays down the magic foam. Sterling's also in the wall. Zane and De Bruyne are over it. Zane left boot, De Bruyne right. Will be a shot from Leroy Sané, and it's not a very good one.
What a waste.
Goes to show, though, the level that Kevin De Bruyne and other City teammates think Leroy Sané is at, that he's allowed to do things like that.
Yeah, true.
You know?
I just think when you're in such a good position like that, you've got all your big men forward, like Company. You just got to put a good quality ball into the box. That's such a waste from Sané.
High ball won by Harry Kane. Tried to flick it on to Eriksen, but City intercept. Dembele then, great strength and skill to get away from 3 before Silva then looks to bring down Lamela. Well, the Spurs fans are unhappy here, but I don't think there was an advantage.
No.
I mean, John Moss has got lots wrong in this half, but Lamela's running into a crowd of 3 players. Has to go back and give the free kick for Dembele. Jesus pulled him back, then had a hack at him. And then Silva's then fouling Lamela. I'm not too sure where he thought he was going.
He's not going anywhere, is he? I think they're just, the fans are getting on top of the referee at the moment. I think the players are a little bit frustrated with him as well. Probably going back to that penalty decision.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to be convinced. At TalkSport Live is the place to get in touch as to why was that given as a penalty. Yeah. maybe there's something we've missed, but it looks like it was a foul outside the area from Lloris on Sterling as Davis picks up on the left-hand side. His low cross is blocked by Company, then Sterling heads towards De Bruyne. Ali put in a bit of a poor challenge there, but didn't come into contact with Sterling, so got away with it. De Bruyne then gives a poor one away, and that's a really poor challenge from Kevin De Bruyne. Goes to ground, brings down Vertonghen. We heard there on our effects mics the scream of Jan Vertonghen, and Kevin De Bruyne goes into the referee's notebook.
Yeah, that's not something we associate Kevin De Bruyne with, but that looked a bit of a naughty on that one. Yes. A bit of a scissor tackle, both legs around each side of him.
Left foot gets the ball, right foot gets plenty of Vertonghen, who's been the wars in this first half for Tottenham Hotspur. 3.5 minutes to go until 45 are up. Tottenham 0, Manchester City 2 on Premier League Live. Ball is delivered by Lamela. It's over Kane, away by Company. Recovered by Davinson Sanchez. Into Dembele, wants a runner. Finds a release to Davis, into Harry Kane. Kane on the edge, slips through to Eriksen. Eriksen's there!
Lucky.
Oh, it's a sliding challenge from Laporte.
So lucky.
And it's come back to Eriksen, and he's shinned it in the net with Ederson already on the ground. And Tottenham Hotspur are back in this game at 2-1.
What a great time to score. That changes his half-time team talk there. They're back in the game now. 2-1. Great first. Well, we spoke about Harry Kane not really being involved at all, but great little through ball. I think Dyer's lucky here. He's just tried to nudge it, and I think I think it might have been off Laporte actually. That it's ricocheted.
Yeah, we're getting the replay now. Yeah. It's Laporte's diving challenge. It almost hits a bit of Ederson and a bit of Laporte, then comes back to Eriksen.
Eriksen wouldn't have known too much about that, would he? It's just
absolutely not.
And nestled in the back of the net, but game on. Tom.
Yeah. I mean, it's exactly what we wanted to see from an entertainment perspective, because it was just petering out a little bit with Spurs massively underperforming.
Surely we can't be looking at Man City controlling the game again and then throwing it away.
There's so much game to go. They're away at Tottenham, one of their least successful grounds. They've lost only at Anfield more than they've lost away at Tottenham Hotspur in Premier League history. Manchester City
just looking down at Pep throwing a bottle on the floor. He's not happy with something.
Here's Eriksen trying to make it 2-2 before half-time, running into Gundogan, who's gone in the way, but then given it away to Dyer. Dyer to Dembele, out left to Davis. Davis pokes it to Dele Alli, Walker closing him down. It's back to Davis. Vertonghen. Got to turn a pace. He only had one leg 5 minutes ago. Cross towards Harry Kane. Laporte gets there first. It's going to go out of play for a corner to Tottenham with a minute to go until the whistle here.
It's better from Tottenham. They won't want the half-time whistle to come now. They're really getting into this game, putting Manchester City under a lot of pressure, and look like the team likely to score the next goal.
Lamela with this corner on the left-hand side for Tottenham Hotspur. Rio looping one, and it's actually looped out of play before coming back in. That's a dreadful delivery by Lamela, a man who many of us couldn't quite believe was in the team sheet.
No, well, I'm looking at that. You've got Eriksen out there who's so technically gifted. Just put him on the corner. He's going to deliver it where you want the ball, isn't he? Pinpoint.
You couldn't believe that, could you?
No.
I didn't know you could go so high. That's it. It was a Diana Ross that was for a minute. That's great. What a waste for Tottenham Hotspur. They were really in the ascendant there. Ederson taking his time over this. I think he was...
What was a free kick?
Thinking it was a free kick. He's certainly playing like that.
Is that just lazy, just wasting time?
We could all see that one's gone out of play. Spurs fans unhappy. John Moss says get on with it. Ederson duly does. Oh, Sanchez, not a great header there. Trippier helps him out and does find the halfway line with his clearance. Oh, and then De Bruyne jumps up with Dembele.
Needs to be careful.
Got to just watch it here. I think he's losing it a bit here, Kevin De Bruyne. But Spurs come forward again. Lamela found by Dele Alli. Kane wants it. Oh, Lamela waited too long. Still got it on Lamela. He's away from Laporte. Cuts it back. No one's there for Tottenham Hotspur. Lamela just didn't have the speed of thought to get that ball over to Harry Kane. It was on for a moment, and just like that, it was gone.
He needed to play it any sooner. I think he just hesitated that couple of seconds, and once you wait that long, the defenders are back in and there's no longer a ball on. But another great opportunity for Spurs there.
Oh, what has happened to Tottenham Hotspur? They were awful for 30 minutes and are now bossing the team, who surely are still going to be Premier League champions. Then Jesus stands in front of the ball as Ali wants to get a free kick going. kicks it straight against him, to be fair, but silly from Jesus, not moving away, and he gets a booking for almost nothing. Petulant play from Gabriel Jesus, who's prone to that kind of thing.
Yeah. I just think, it's sloppy from Man City now. Tottenham started really poorly. They're coming into the game now, and it just looks like City are massively on the back foot this last 5 minutes.
2 minutes added on at the end of the 45, into the first one of those 2 minutes as things stand. Free kick resulted in an attack on the left-hand side, which is clear, but it breaks back to Davinson Sanchez, who gets a big diagonal out towards Davis, intercepted. Jesus for City, round the corner to Kevin De Bruyne, he's round the back of Ali, low cross towards Zane, it's away from Trippier, who read it well. Davis wants to keep it on, he was way out of position there, Ben Davis, and that's the space that De Bruyne was looking to capitalise on. Well, approaching the half-time whistle here, Lee, an odd game of football to assess, really.
Yeah, it is, I think for the majority of the first half, Manchester City would have probably been the happier side. I think Tottenham started really poorly, but seems like, coming to the end of it now, they're growing into the game, and for the past 5 minutes have looked more likely to get the equaliser before half-time, really.
City still dangerous, though. They've got this throw down the right. They're quite happy to play for the whistle here, City. Knock it down the right wing, cleared away by Vertonghen. Gundogan forward, Sanchez. He's a player who's got better across the season. Davinson Sanchez controls there and finds a pass back to Lloris as the half-time whistle goes.
Yeah, I think it's just another example of Manchester City's, defensive frailties at times. For Tottenham to get back into that game, when the City should be cruising, 2-0 away from home, but they've allowed Tottenham back in, and it should make for a really good second half.
Yeah, water's got a bit choppy for City, not cruising anymore, but they are leading by 2-1 at the break at Wembley Stadium. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Premier League football is a truly global game, and TalkSport is the global audio partner of the Barclays Premier League.
It's a massive goal!
With live commentary of all 380 matches this season, available at TalkSport.com in English, Spanish or Mandarin every weekend.
What a goal! What a fantastic strike!
The event horizon of world-class football. Visit TalkSport.com to find out more.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered.
Gets away from another, comes in into the top corner. It is a moment of Merseyside magic from Mo Salah. He's done it again. He's 19th on the...
Do you know what? I've heard people have this debate before, and people are saying that you're going to take the debates away from the pub after games, and you're going to take that people arguing about stuff. But I think at the end of the day, the games, there's so much at stake, and there's so much at stake for these managers and these teams that you've got to do something that is going to help get the decision right ultimately.
But let's not get dragged down to it. I want to make sure Paul enjoys the second half. We are underway with the second period of football. Tottenham 1, Man City 2. I'll run to the teams for you shortly as Spurs fire one down the right-hand side in the air towards Harry Kane, who's put Delph under pressure. Coming forward immediately here, Tottenham Hotspur, crossed by Ericsson, flicked away by Company. Ali will get there before Sterling knocks it into touch. So, here's your team, starting with Tottenham. Hugo Lloris in goal, yellow carded for giving that penalty away earlier. He's the skipper as well. Back four, left to right, Ben Davies, Jan Vertonghen, Davinson Sanchez and Kieran Trippier. Eric Dyer holds in midfield with Eric Lamela and Moussa Dembele with him. Christian Eriksen and Dele Alli supporting Harry Kane. On the bench, Son, Wanyama, Vorm, Sissoko, Aurier, Mora and young Keziah Sterling. For City, Ederson in goal. Back four, left to right, Fabian Delph, Aymeric Laporte, Vincent Kompany and Kyle Walker. Ilkay Gundogan in midfield with Fernandinho suspended. De Bruyne and David Silva in front of him. Sterling, Jesus and Zane the front three. Spurs coming forward, right hand side here. Ali finds Trippier. Trippier's cross behind Lamela, away by Walker up to the halfway line. Spurs are taking the goal away to our left in this second period. White shirts, navy shorts and white socks. Dyer down the line to Ericsson, down the right wing again. Laporte, silly shove on Ericsson, and he gives the free kick away.
It's annoying. It's like, you don't need to do that. You've got him facing away from goal. You've got him right out there on the touchline. You don't need to give a daft, senseless foul away and give Spurs an opportunity to, put some quality into the box.
It's quickly the bench for City. Bravo, Bernardo Silva, Otamendi, Zinchenko, Yaya Toure, perennial sub, Phil Foden and Brahim Diaz. City wearing their away strip of all. Someone told me it was mauve at half time. Mauve. Got a tweet saying it was mauve, so it's mauve apparently, with white numbering.
Have you mentioned maroon?
Maybe maroon. Is it maroon? I don't know.
I've never heard of mauve.
Never heard of mauve?
No, mauve, no.
It's purpley. Purplish. Free kicks on the right hand side here, but John Moss wants a word with Harry Kane and Fabian Delph maybe as well. It's Laporte who's having a bit of a tough evening in the centre of defence.
You think he was brought in as a left back, wasn't he?
Well, he is a central defender, maybe a left side of a defensive three. As this ball is whipped in. What a punch away by Ederson. The flag's gone up on that far side. Few Spurs players had just gone a bit too quickly there. That's a shame, because that really was, as you say, Lee, a terrific ball.
Yeah, it was a great ball in. I think, just to reiterate my point from earlier, put him on set pieces, because he's going to deliver the balls like that time after time. There's no room in the Premier League, especially for players to be taking corners and going out for a goal kick.
Goal kick into Delph, chased down by Lamela and Ericsson. He's done well, Delph, but then there's a really good challenge on him by Dyer. Then Dembele looks to get in.
It looked like he had a magnet to his boot there. Wouldn't leave him every time he got tackled.
Very well, Fabian Delph. Risky play, but that's the way City do it. Silva then releases Zane. Zane's cross hits Trippier. Lloris will just prevent that going for a corner. I mean, that's the risk, isn't it? If he gives that ball away, there's four Spurs players on the ball and the attack around it, but he then, because he, I want to say gets away with it, but because he does it well, he then starts the attack. It's ball through to Harry Kane here. Ederson came out, but Kane is offside. Came a long way.
Yeah, he did. He does come a long way. He's not scared to come out, act as that sweeper keeper. But going back to the way City play out from the back, when they do it and they're on form and they're flying, it works so well, and they can literally cut teams open from out the back. But at times, it can be a risky business, and I think other teams have maybe thought about trying to emulate it, but don't want to take them risks that City do. But just look at that example there. They could shell the ball long, the keeper could just smack it upfield, but City find themselves now in the attacking half just playing out so well.
Kyle Walker carrying the ball down the right hand side. You notice he's got loads of holes. In the back of his socks, Kyle Walker.
Is that for cramp purposes?
Apparently he does it, and Arthur Masuaku at West Ham do it because the socks are too tight these days. Because obviously got the shin pads and extra strapping.
Yeah.
So the socks come too tight, so they put a bunch of holes in it. Ever thought of doing that? Does that help?
I've never thought of doing that, no, but I think it probably will relieve. I think, especially for players who do suffer with cramp, and it usually tends to be, the quick players like Kyle Walker, who they can seize up during games because they do so much sprinting. I've definitely seen that happen.
I've never seen that before until last week, and now I've seen it, I can't not see it.
Yeah, because you see more players these days as well. Have you seen them wearing the socks really low?
Yeah.
And I don't know whether that's maybe, I don't know if that's a style thing or whether it's just, you're not pulling the sock up all the way up to so high and it's, getting that tightness.
Bring back loose socks.
But then people are moan about the loose socks because they're not keeping the shin pads in place and they're falling down all the time.
Check your socks on VAR. That's what we need.
Yep.
And we're fine.
And we're moaning again, Tom. About the
Try and enjoy it, mate. Try and enjoy it, okay? Spurs are coming forward here on the left-hand side. Davis, low cross, straight at Walker. Throwing on this left. They've got plenty of ball here, Tottenham, but just not quite penetrating Man City.
No.
Who are standing firm defensively.
At least on the front foot again, though. They're taking the game to Manchester City.
Throwing down the line. Ericsson looks to cross. It's a looper which hits the roof of the net. That's going to be a goal kick to Man City. 5 minutes gone in the second period. 50 across the piece. Tottenham 1, Manchester City 2.
I think it's massive, this game for City. I think they need the 3 points. I think they need to win, get that monkey off the back, and I think they need to, they can't allow another lead to slip tonight.
They've let one slip so far. At TalkSport Live, the place to get in touch, by the way, and Anike has got in touch and says, is this going to be yet another comeback against Manchester City? And why does it keep on happening? What a good question.
It is.
I do not know the answer. Spurs on the front foot here. They're trapping City in their defensive left-back area. Gundogan pokes it to Ederson in goal. They'll go right to Walker. Slips as he finds the ball down the line to De Bruyne. De Bruyne's ball towards Sterling is then intercepted. Dele Alli chips one towards Ericsson. Company read it well. Breaks to Ericsson in the area. Good control from him. Gundogan's challenge. Here's Dele Alli. Alli's in the area running at Company. Good challenge by Company. Then Ericsson puts a challenge in. Company and Alli then combine. Dele Alli has gone down holding his ankle. Vincent Kompany looks at him with nothing but pure disdain. John Moss doesn't give anything. He stayed down, and Raheem Sterling's going to knock this ball out of play. And that's the thing, isn't it? When you've got the reputation, do you believe him or not?
I was just going to say that, yeah.
Do you believe him?
No, I think he's got that reputation where he does go down easily and he will, play on tackles, and I think we'll see it again on the monitor here. Yeah, it just looks like Kompany gets his studs caught in his laces, it looks like.
I mean, whether it's a penalty or not, but he certainly lands on the foot, on the top of Ali's foot. Like, it is probably a painful one for Dele Alli, but not a foul. But then, we can go maybe to the game here at Wembley between England and Italy, where is it James Tarkowski?
Yeah,
he kind of got a stud on the foot of the Italian attacker.
Unintentional,
but that's not too far from what Kompany's just done, is it, really? I don't know.
I think the best way to describe what you were talking about, Dele Alli there, the old cliche, the boy who cries, the boy who cried wolf. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Not sure he's going to get too many penalties moving forward, Dele Alli, but he does dive. It does dive a lot. I mean, you get rewarded sometimes and you get punished sometimes. Don't think that was a penalty, though. I'm not too sure Ali was actually claiming for it. It looked like a painful one. We're back underway. Ball is back in City possession. Dele Alli is up and chasing down Kyle Walker, who's already up over the halfway line. Gives it away sloppily, though, to Vertonghen, and then jinks away from De Bruyne. Great play. It's an awful pass, though. He's come up with the ball well tonight, wasn't he? Bad pass at the end of that one there, but he seems to be travelling and moving with the ball well.
He was one of the best at that, Jan Vertonghen, and his pass there to Lamela was poorly overhit. Again, though, they've won it back, Tottenham. Lovely turn from Dembele away from Jesus in the centre circle. And finds a release left to Davis. That's magnificent stuff from Moussa Dembele.
I think he was one of the ones in the first half as well when Tottenham weren't really playing well. He was on the front foot and he was trying to make things happen and looked like he wanted to.
Always wants the ball, doesn't he? Always wants to get involved. Not afraid to run with it in tricky situations. A real inspirational character for Tottenham Hotspur. Laporte again, he's been suckered into a lot of those tonight. I mean, this may well stand him in good stead going forward, but Spurs players got it. Laporte runs too close, Spurs man goes down. Is it actually a foul? I mean, that's debatable, but you know it's going to be given, so just give him that extra half a yard, don't you?
And you'd think someone with his experience and know-how that, we're sat here talking about it, surely he's got to know that.
Apparently not. Oh, Vincent Kompany again with a super challenge.
And Ali's rolling around again.
He got there just before Dele Alli and finds a release to De Bruyne too, who's away from Dembele, holds him up well, Dembele. De Bruyne is up over the halfway line, it's left to David Silva, just behind David Silva from Kevin De Bruyne. City retained possession. There were a few shouts for a foul there on Dele Alli, who did stay down afterwards. It was a slip ball into his path. Kompany went to ground and risked it. In the end, it was just nothing incident really for John Moss to look at. I think Ali made too much of a fuss about it than maybe he could have done. Here's Silva, who's given it away. Sliding challenge from Fabian Delph.
Yeah, we've not seen too much. We've not been seeing too much. They're in possession, but we haven't seen much of them in an attacking sense, have we, this second half, Manchester City?
No. Well, Fabian Delph again under pressure. This time from Dyer, who's brought him down. Free kick goes the way of City. Is that because of Spurs pressing? No. Is that because of the way they played as opposed to City?
Yeah, which is the way you probably would have expected them to start the game, but they didn't. And they've allowed a 2-0 advantage to Manchester City, and now they face an uphill task, trying to get back in the game.
Laporte gives the ball away again, trying to find Zane with a hopeful clip down the touchline. Look at Pep Guardiola, he's up on the edge of his technical area and he's exacerbated with his players, screaming at De Bruyne. He's having a go at Delph. He's not happy with Zane. This has not been a great performance from Man City, despite the fact they lead 2-1.
No, it's not. But the main thing is, as I say, they get the 3 points here tonight. They need to stop this losing run. Put that to bed and get back to winning ways.
Lots of football still to be played here as we approach the hour mark. All goals coming in the first half. Jesus and Gundogan from the spot for Eriksson. Ball one back with a lucky ricochet after a good move. On the left hand side, over the halfway is Jan Vertonghen. Fires a big diagonal to Lamela, who's done well. Lamela controls from the chest and comes in field, finds Eriksson right to Trippier into Lamela, back to goal, finds the ball back to the right hand side and Dyer infield to Dembele, all poked it away from Kevin De Bruyne, but Tongan had to slide in on his countryman to win it back for Spurs. Down the left hand side comes Davis at Sterling, low cross, just away from Harry Kane at the back post. Delph picks it up, really calm stuff again with Fabian Delph, and knocks it to Ederson and brings the ball away.
He's been really impressive for Vertonghen tonight, hasn't he? He's been one of the standout players for Tottenham. So comfortable in possession, good defender.
Ball from Davis on the left hand side. It was just inches away from Harry Kane, who just found that bit of space in between Laporte and Kompany, which he's so good at doing. A break in play here because Gabriel Jesus has gone down. Not quite sure what happened to him. Looks like he's taken a bit of a whack in the head, maybe from that high clearance from Fabian Delph, which Sanchez won a few moments ago. Plenty more football coming up for you on Premier League Live. Of course, this has been 10 hours worth of top Premier League football today. We are back with you tomorrow. A couple of games in the Premier League to bring you. Newcastle against Arsenal is the early game on Sunday. That's 1:30 UK time, and every time I see that fixture I think about that 4-4 and that late goal from Czech Tiote, Joey Barton's penalty and all that from 7-8 years ago now. Fantastic game of football. Manchester United against West Bromwich Albion is the 4 o'clock UK time kick-off. Then Monday Night Football, West Ham look to get the points to make them safe against Stoke, who are second bottom and can't afford to let any opportunity slip to pick up points in the Premier League.
There's so many games where you look back and you remember Newcastle, being involved in some thrilling encounters, isn't it? The one that always springs to my mind was the Liverpool-Newcastle game.
Oh, yeah.
And there was the 3-3s and the 4-3s.
Stan Collymore, Kevin Keegan, all that.
Some great games.
Yeah, Newcastle, great to have them back in the Premier League, and we're going to certainly have another year of Newcastle United, I'm sure, from this point. Irrespective of what happens against Arsenal tomorrow, they're on 38 points now, 10th in the Premier League. It's an incredible achievement from Rafa Benitez, who's not got the Faustino Asprilla and all those great players, Alan Shearer, Les Ferdinand, Ginola,
I think everyone looks fondly on Newcastle. They're a great club and great fan base, haven't they? And you want to see them do well.
Let's function positively. What are you doing? Come on, that's not how we do things here. We're back underway with half an hour remaining. High ball from Hugo Lloris is won by Kyle Walker. Sterling then loses out to Vertonghen. And Dyer gets Spurs back on the ball. Lovely ball into Dele Alli from Davis. Over the halfway. Harry Kane. Great ball diagonal to Lamela. Oh, he's offside. Oh, well, the flag went up when he controlled it, as is the way it's meant to be done. Well, that was frustrating there for Spurs. And Sane then plays in Jesus, who's in between Sanchez and Vertonghen. Just behind him there. And then Vertonghen goes to ground to get there before Sane. What a performance from Jan Vertonghen.
Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. I've not seen too much of Spurs this year, but whenever I have seen Vertonghen, he's been exceptional.
Building a strong partnership with Davinson Sanchez. And round the corner, I think Kane's going to be offside here, and he knows it too. There was a lovely interplay between Ali and Lamela.
I just wondered whether he could have got himself then rather than playing Kane in.
And around about the centre circle, City playing very high. Lamela wanted to play in Harry Kane. I'm not sure Kane wanted it.
I think Kane would have known he was in an offside position there. He would have been, well, no, don't give it to me, I'm offside.
Kyle Walker up over the halfway line for Manchester City. He's been the real chief outlet, hasn't he, for City in this second half?
Yeah. So important, to have his pace down that right hand side. As you say, it really is an outlet for Manchester City.
Not been great in this second period. Manchester City, maybe just
good pressing again.
Thinking about last week, maybe a bit. They're going in ones and twos, aren't they?
I think you're right. It's maybe a bit hesitant because they don't want it to happen again. They don't want to be come from a leading position and throw the 3 points away again, because it can't happen. You can't have Manchester City going away to or at home and going 2-0 up, 3-0 up and still not winning the game. You can't go into away games like tonight and think, right, well, if we're going to win this game, we've got to score 3 or 4. It's ridiculous.
I mean, it's worked pretty well so far.
It can happen, but
City get to 92 goals and 87 points if things remain as they are.
But it just, like the last week or so, it just shows that you're not going to do it every week. And a 2-0 lead away at Tottenham, you're thinking, right, come on, let's just get a grip of this game. Let's just control the game now and let's get the 3 points. Well,
the Harry Kane team have yet to get the ball to Harry Kane. So there's plenty of time to do so. At the moment, City just having a period of possession. Just inside their own half, Laporte is found by Delph. Into Sane, back to Laporte, making Tottenham work to win it back. Laporte will then go back to Ederson. Kane will chase him down. Ederson outside of his area goes long. Won by Trippier, only as far as David Silva. Forward to Leroy Sane. Sliding challenge there by Lamela was a bit risky, but he does want it back for Tottenham Hotspur. It's a bit rash sometimes, Lamela. Another one of those examples there. Worked out that time.
But a second too late and he finds himself in a lot of trouble.
Vertonghen's intercepted a through ball to Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne then wins the next one, but he caught him late there. High ball towards Sterling. Cleared away by Spurs. Laporte doesn't deal with it, heads it backwards rather than forwards. Company hooks it clear. De Bruyne up. Then playing Jesus. Jesus onside. Bearing down on goal. That is a really poor finish from Gabriel Jesus. He rather got the ball caught under his feet, felt Sanchez chasing him down and just swung at it.
Yeah, I feel like it was a bit Sterling-esque, against Man United, where you're seeing him run through one-on-one with the goalkeeper, ball gets stuck under his feet, and it's a terrible finish. But it's these chances that sometimes come back to haunt City, because if they don't go on to win this game now, you look back at them chances and you'll be like, we've been the creators of our own downfall again.
The change here for City, Nicolas Otamendi is coming on, Leroy Sane is going off, so maybe that'll be a little change in style. Also a change for Tottenham, and Heung-min Son is coming on for the ineffective Eric Lamela, and getting a warm ovation from the home fans as well.
Well, is that a sign that that Pep has gone a bit more defensive? It'll be interesting to see what reshuffle they have here.
It could be 3 at the back. It could also be Delph going into midfield. I think it looks like they've gone 3 at the back here, with Walker wing back on this side and Delph on the far, and Otamendi just goes right centre-half with Company in the centre. That's what it seems like at the moment, though of course Laporte can play left-back. You know exactly where Fabian Delph is playing, and we work it out. Silva's onside, round the back of Davinson Sanchez, in the penalty area. Here's Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling with the shot.
He just takes too long. You've not got that time in the box.
It's a good block by Ben Davies, though. Yeah, he went to ground, he got the block, but he was there for a first-time finish.
It's good play from Sterling. I think it's a great ball through to Silva. Silva, as he always does, picks out the right pass. But you see Silva's frustration. He's like, Raheem, you've got to get the shot off quicker.
Guilty of a couple of big misses last week in the first half. Raheem Sterling, one late on from a couple of yards, which he maybe should have put in.
Yeah. Well, that's 2 chances for City there, which for me, they score another goal, and they've got a great chance of taking the 3 points here tonight. But I hope that doesn't come back to haunt them again.
Here's Heung-min Son down the right hand side, trying to get away from Vincent Kompany, gets it through the legs of Kompany, and then he's held up by the Belgian central defender, who will get a yellow card for pulling back the shirt of the South Korean winger, who has just come on and has endeared himself to so many Tottenham fans this season with some brilliant displays, some fantastic goals across the competitions. And certainly offers a bit more attacking intent than maybe Lamela did.
Yeah, it'll be a tough last 25 minutes for Vincent Kompany. And Kompany, I think it's going to be with Son on there now, it adds another dimension to what Tottenham can do in the attacking sense.
Christian Eriksen's over this ball on the right hand side, 10 yards away from the penalty area. Eriksen's delivery, Son flicks it on, it's behind 3 Spurs players. Davis cross, then hits Walker. Davis volleys back nicely to Dele Alli. Slightly back to Dembele. Spurs in possession. What a great ball that was again from Eriksen.
He's great, isn't he, from them dead ball situations. I think we could be in for a really, really interesting last 20 minutes here.
Heung-min Son just adds that electricity to Tottenham Hotspur. Maybe they've been lacking for so much of this game. You couple that with Eriksen's quality, and boy, Harry Kane is in front of goal, and they won't feel this game is done yet. Here's Dele Alli. Good challenge from Vertonghen again to get Spurs back in possession. Into Eric Dyer in the centre of midfield. Pokes it right to Sanchez. Trippier on the halfway, into Heung-min Son, back to goal, 2 players around him, pokes it away to Davinson Sanchez in his own half. Square to Dyer, just sits in between these 2 central defenders, doesn't he? Picks out passes, found one to Trippier that time, who gave it away. Challenged by Ali on Sterling, was clumsy. He gives a free kick away on the halfway. Why are Spurs struggling to get over the halfway line? Is that good play from Man City? Yeah. Good tactical play. I mean, it seems they have gone 3 at the back.
No, I think you see Pep screaming on it. We've seen him screaming on for the last probably half an hour. So he's obviously getting the right instructions on. He's trying to stop Spurs momentum, and as you say, they need to, because they're certainly in the ascendancy here.
Sterling down the left hand side, battling with Sanchez for it. That was again a clumsy one. This time it's Sanchez on Sterling. No free kick given. Cleared away by the Spurs man. Laporte then beats Son to it. It bounces all the way through from the clearance to Hugo Lloris. Challenge on Sanchez from Sterling.
Here he is again.
Yeah, Vertonghen driving forward after a 1-2 with Davis, and he wants a pass here, and he's flicked one towards Eriksen. Just held up by the pass. Still going though, Christian Eriksen can't poke it to Kane. Breaks back to Dele Alli. Ali's chip right, and he's mishit it. Cleared away up towards the halfway line. Sterling, poor control from him, allows Dyer in to steal. Breaks though to Gundogan. Lovely play from De Bruyne. Lets the ball run across his body and carries it out left. Running at Dembele, running at Trippier. They hold him up well. But City keep possession. Really good play by Kevin De Bruyne.
I'm going to put my neck on the line.
Go on.
Whoever picks man of the match at this game, no matter what the end result is, if it's not Vertonghen, they've been watching a different game from me.
Fantastic performance from Jan Vertonghen, doing his defensive work. He's also Spurs' best attacking midfielder.
He is, isn't he?
So far though, he's on the losing side. I always think never pick man of the match on the losing team. They're giving it away here, Spurs. De Bruyne coming forward. It's a silly shirt tug from Dembele on De Bruyne, and he'll get a yellow card, I'm sure, here. Moves to Dembele. De Bruyne was just running through to that back four. Dembele's the man that gave it away, and he just wasn't allowing De Bruyne to get any further. And takes a soft yellow card for his team.
Yeah.
Final 20 minutes remaining here. Kevin De Bruyne has got the chance from maybe 32, 35 yards, just right of centre, to maybe test Hugo Lloris. Not had much to do in the second period, the Spurs keeper.
You can have a shot from here, you can't play any curl after. You've got to drive it.
It is De Bruyne, and he drives it straight into the Spurs wall. Picked up by Company, clipped out left, headed into Otamendi. Otamendi back to Fabian Delph, left hand side. Eriksen chasing him. Here's Gundogan. Gundogan forward. His little poke has hit Davinson Sanchez. Spurs have it back, and Spurs can break. Oh, and Eriksen went early to Kane. Kane wasn't watching. Company was.
No, I think Kane's just got to stand, and he's got to offer himself for him there. He's got no other options, really.
Good run out right by Walker. Found brilliantly by De Bruyne. Ball towards the back post. Lloris into Sterling. Sterling for three. Sterling for the win.
What a tackle.
Oh no!
What?
Raheem Sterling is away from Lloris, and Spurs had defenders on the line. And one of those defenders has got their body in the way when Raheem Sterling should have secured the points.
Well, he's done everything right, hasn't he? He's sat Lloris down. Another defender's dived in. He's sat him down, and you just think but Trippier's managed to, get himself up off the floor after initially being sold a dummy, and it was a great block.
Oh, Raheem Sterling. Will it be 2 weeks running? He cost City the win. Low ball in from De Bruyne. Breaks back to Otamendi. His shot is blocked by Dele Alli.
He's got to score there, hasn't he? Has to score. Did the first bit right.
He's done great to get away from the goalkeeper, but then he just seemed to wait a few more seconds before hitting it. Another corner coming in here from Manchester City. Spurs want to make a change. They might be 3-1 down by the time they can. Good ball in, won by Silva. Sanchez can't clear, breaks to Jesus. Great save, Sterling. He's turned the ball home this time. Tottenham Hotspur are screaming for offside, but it's not coming. And Raheem Sterling, third time's the charm for him. Missed a couple of big opportunities last week, missed a couple this week, but from 2 yards out with the goalkeeper on the floor, he wasn't missing that one. 3-1.
Yeah, I think that's game now. Sterling, we talked about him earlier, didn't we, where most of his goals are tap-ins, where he finds himself in the 6-yard box for rebounds or cutbacks. Another example of it there, good shot. Lloris does really well initially, great save from Jesus, and it just falls to Sterling, and he can't miss from there. It's a good finish with his left foot.
In the right place at the right time. He hasn't let the misses affect his confidence, has he, Raheem Sterling?
He couldn't miss that one, could he?
Well, you see him miss, don't you? You see him miss. Thinking about Glenn Murray earlier today. Missed a sitter for Brighton.
I think relief on Pep's face there.
Well, Tottenham has certainly been the better side in this second half, but they haven't really forced Ederson into too many saves. Lloris made his first real couple of the match. And in the third chance in quick succession, they finally have scored. Lucas Moura's on, by the way, for Tottenham Hotspur, and here he is now running forward. He's found Dele Alli. Alli gets away from two on the edge, finds a ball left to Davis. Davis cuts it back. Here's Alli, wants a pass, wants a poke. Nowhere to go. Four players around him, and it's won back well by Kevin De Bruyne. He'll then carry the ball forward up towards the halfway line. He releases out left Gabriel Jesus. It's Moussa Dembele, by the way, who's gone off. I would imagine he's got a little bit of a knock. Lucas Moura's on to replace him.
You have to start calling you Mystic Tom. It could be 3-1 before he comes on, and that's the case.
Just keep saying that at every chance. Eventually you're going to be right. That's my policy. Fall back to. Doesn't work when I do my own team though. I say it all the time and I'm always wrong.
Of the lottery.
No, I'm actually a multiple millionaire. I just didn't know. Here's Dele Alli for Tottenham, trying to bring this ball away. Finds a ball to Lucas Moura. Sanchez on the halfway line. Dyer left to Eriksen. There's banks of Manchester City players in maroon or mauve or purple or whatever it is. Everyone in the right position. Everyone back behind the ball, playing deep, holding the lead. Haven't been asked to do this too much this time, this season, City, have they?
No.
By too many teams. As Son's ball is fired in. Company gets there before Kane, who's barely had a sniff of the ball, has he, all day, Harry Kane?
No, he's been non-existent for the majority of this game. I think you've got to give Sterling credit as well.
High clearance is flicked on into Sterling by De Bruyne, heads it into his own path. Raheem Sterling! Oh, well, Sanchez was with him. You've got to give it to Davinson Sanchez, but Sterling again has a chance that goes begging.
Have you ever seen a player have as many chances as he gets in games? It's incredible, isn't it?
And this one is almost all of his own doing. He heads it into his own path brilliantly. And Sanchez just gets a late block on it before the shot can really be struck at goal. It's good defending.
It is good defending. I think you got to give Raheem Sterling credit. He still gets in them positions. He still goes, doesn't he? He doesn't shy away after he misses a couple of chances. And like just earlier, he gets the reward and eventually he gets his goal.
Got another change here for Manchester City. Gabriel Jesus is off. And coming on for him is Bernardo Silva, who has been such a key component, hasn't he, of the way City have played in the last few months. Unlucky to find himself on the subs bench as De Bruyne's ball comes in. It's away by Lucas Moura at the near. Picked up by Kyle Walker, who chips it out to the far side. It's overhit towards De Bruyne. So Sterling now will go through the centre, and Silva will come on the right with the other Silva on the left. Ball chipped into the centre of the field, and Dyer found by Dele Alli. Spurs not been at their best here. This will give some hope to Chelsea going into the last couple of games of the season.
Just thinking, mate, that third goal might have took a bit of wind out of Spurs' sails. They were playing well and they were still pushing for that equaliser, but I think they might be even. I think it's one little bit too far now.
What's it like when you're about to come off the bench? Maybe it's not happened to you in your career, but then when they're preparing to bring you on, the other team score.
It's horrible. Yeah, it does happen to me. It's horrible because I think, especially if you're coming on in this game tonight, you're 2-1 down, you're thinking, right, I'm going to go on, I'm going to have an impact, I'm going to get us back in this game. And when the team scores just as you're about to come on and it makes it 3-1, it just can change the whole complexion of the game. And
you have been told to sit down again in that situation?
No.
Is that a common thing?
I think, I've seen it happen, I have seen it happen. But I've seen worse than that. I've seen players come on and get subbed off after only just coming on.
No chance of that, I would imagine, with the calibre of player that City and Spurs indeed have brought on. Davis looks crossfield towards Moura, slightly under hit there from Davis. Has eventually ricocheted through to Lucas Moura. Right hand side, running at De Bruyne. Great skill here, beats two, but there's a really good challenge in the end by Otamendi to challenge Lucas Moura as he looked to run through a crowd. Got great skill. I think he's run into too many players.
I think it was a real shame because I think City getting that third goal, because I was looking at Lucas Moura coming on there and I was thinking he could have a real impact on this game. He runs with the ball really well. He's another exciting player, and I thought he could come on and maybe change the game and get Tottenham back in it. But that third goal I think is ruined that.
£25 million winger from Paris Saint-Germain, brought in January. It's fair to say he's not had a massive impact on this Spurs team.
He's not had a massive impact, but I think whenever I've seen him, he looks quite lively and looks like he can make things happen.
Raheem Sterling has won a free kick for his team on the halfway line, which they've taken short and taken quick and knocked it back to Vincent Kompany. Have they looked more assured, City, since going a three at the back? Has that made a positive change, do you think?
I'd probably say so, yeah. I think they've probably got back into the game a little more, haven't they? They've had a bit more possession. They've got the goal as well. So I think maybe that's helped. Maybe helps then that that attacking that Tottenham were really putting under a bit of pressure.
David Silva drops deep on the ball for Manchester City. Spurs just look like they're legging now. They're flagging after that third goal.
City just passing it around now, aren't they? Trying to tire Spurs out.
Back to Ederson in his own 6-yard box. Chips it out right. Delph chest round the corner. De Bruyne will then find Silva. Moura's run it back for Tottenham. Eriksen down the right channel towards Trippier. Delph will look to hold him up. Trippier will get there first by the corner flag. Wants a teammate. Will find a ball back down the channel to Dyer. Dyer's cross towards Harry Kane. It's away by Company, who's bossed it in the penalty area today.
Yeah. He loves them, doesn't he? You know, he loves them battles. If teams are going to put crosses in, you know, it's food and drink for Vincent Company.
Back to Edison again, who loops one in the air up towards the far side. De Bruyne controls on the chest with Sanchez with Company. Trippier, it's a poor pass from him. It's straight to Bernardo Silva. Only Raheem Sterling ahead of him. Here he is now. The Tongan slides in, misses it. Sterling's got it. He's round the back. Raheem Sterling in the area, running at Davinson Sanchez. He's done well. He's the Spurs defender. Gets the first challenge in, then prevents the corner. Knocked it out for a throw on that far side.
Yeah, first little bit he's done wrong. The Tongan slides in a little bit too early, mistimes it, and allows but Sanchez defending well again.
Yeah, when I saw him earlier in the season at Watford when he got sent off, I just thought he looked so rusty, so raw, but Toby Alderweireld throwing a hissy fit about his contract has really helped him out, and he looks like it could be a real good signing for Tottenham.
Yeah, I think sometimes, you know, the games help, don't they? You know, he gets a run of games, gets his confidence up, and believes that he can play at this level, and I think it's showing.
A lot of people asked about that £38.4 million fee, but that's about 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps in it these days. There's no money for a top defender. Under pressure here though from Sterling. Dyer had to come back to help him out, deal with that high ball. Pokes it forward to Davis. Walker's run it back. City will come away here. Bernardo Silva down the right, running at Dyer. I'm not quite sure, to be honest. I don't know if you could tell me what's the formation now for Tottenham. I mean, it's just gone
very ragged,
really ragged. Yeah, good way of putting it. Is it hard to keep your discipline in this kind of situation?
I think it is. I think, you know, especially when this is happening now, and you know, Man City are popping about, and frustrations come in. You get players, you know, running off, trying to, you know, close down by themselves. You see Trippier there, you know, closing it down, turning round, no one supporting him, throws his hands up in the air, and you know, if you go in ones and twos, you're going to get picked off by Manchester City.
They've had it all their own way today, City.
No, not at all.
But they have created the majority of the chances. So the game could have been all so different if John Moss realised that Sterling was fouled outside the area at 1-0 instead of giving the penalty which Gundogan converted. That was for 2-0. Currently 3-1 with 8 minutes remaining here. Fabian Delph on the far side will go back to Aymeric Laporte. Over the top towards De Bruyne, who's onside here. Picked it up before Dyer. De Bruyne inside to Bernardo Silva. No real inclination to get too far forward. You can just see around Wembley, and it's a big old arena, but you can see a few people heading for the exits, hoping to beat the traffic. Spurs fans, not en masse, but there are plenty that would like to get home and forget this happened.
Yeah. I think you've also, you know,
Company straight to Lucas Moura. Edge of the penalty area, needs to find a pass. He does find Dele Alli. Ali shoots, hits Company. That was an opening there for Tottenham.
That was a chance, sloppy from Company. Not said that too much tonight, but gives the ball away really easily there. Gives Tottenham a great opportunity, but luckily Man City, they don't capitalise on it. Good defender, he got back in, got the block in himself in the end. Atoned for his error.
It's a tremendous performance, I think, Vincent Company this evening, but could have cost his team there. Corner from the right hand side. Eriksson with it, straight to Edison. He wants to get City underway quickly, rolls it out to Raheem Sterling.
Oh, he's waited too long.
Finds De Bruyne left instead. Moore is with him, trying to hold him up. Can't hold him up. Oh, he does nibble back in with a really good challenge there, Lucas Moura. That's not why someone like him has been brought into the club, but you've got to do that.
Yeah,
he's done very well.
Got to put a shift in. I think you've got to give credit to Man City tonight. I think, you know, to come to Tottenham at Wembley, you know, it's not an easy place to come. They've been fantastic at home this year, and you know, to dig in and grind out the 3 points, you know, with a 3-1 win, I think that they'll be more than happy with that.
Final change for Spurs. Moussa Sissoko is on. Dele Alli is off. Not a great performance from him today.
No.
Quite sure what his role is in the team right now for Spurs, with what Eriksson does, with what Son does.
Yeah.
More to a lesser extent. You kind of want him as the number 10 off Harry Kane, but is it a case if Kane has a bad game, then so does the guy off him?
Yep. I think he's got ability, hasn't he? Dele Alli is a great player, and I think he's could be crucial for England in summer. But I think, especially this evening, we've seen him more times than not rolling around on the floor than we have with the ball at his feet.
Big ball out right to Lucas Moore. A really lovely first touch. Up against Delph on the touchline. Cuts it back to Trippier. Son gathers and turns. Heung-min Son from distance. That's blocked. Kyle Walker will pick it up by the corner flag.
I think Delph, whenever called upon, when he goes and plays at fullback, he always does a job, doesn't he? It's not his preferred position. But again tonight, I think he's done a decent job at fullback.
He's only really going to play for Man City there, though, isn't he? I mean, I'm kind of surprised that certainly in Fernandinho's absence that he didn't get a little run out in that defensive midfield role, which is why they bought him in the first place.
Just seems to always be utilised, when they need someone at left back.
Utility man left back.
Utility.
Was once going to be England's holding midfielder. But would he be happy with that?
Not really, because I think, realistically, if Mendy comes back in, he's going to be first choice, or, I don't think they'll be happy with him as a first choice left back. So what will they do? Will they go out and buy someone else? Or?
Would be an attractive proposition for plenty of clubs, you'd imagine, Fabian Delph during the summer. Lovely ball around the corner there from Son to Sissoko. Low cross blocked again by Vincent Kompany, who's been just fantastic in the City defence today. Cleared away upfield by De Bruyne. Vertonghen gets Spurs back in possession.
The ball goes into the area. It's like the ball is always attracted in it to Vincent Kompany. Yes. Always seem to be at the right place at the right time.
Heung-min Son, lovely skill to get away from three on the edge, but his lob ball towards Harry Kane is overhit. It has just been such a frustrating day for Tottenham, hasn't it?
It has. And not many teams come here, did they, and get and beat them at Wembley. Especially not. Obviously, this year they've been great at home, and they're not used to this.
The home form has been fantastic. Their form in general has been fantastic, and yet they're a long, long way behind where Manchester City are. Just one defeat in the last 34 games at White Hart Lane and Wembley combined. That was 2-1 to Chelsea in August. It's an incredible and fearsome home record. City look to be snatching that away unless there can be a great comeback here. All over the top towards Lucas Moore on the right hand side. Vertonghen's pass. Moore has controlled it well. He's in the area. A couple of step overs. Cuts it back. Here's Eriksen. Away from Bernardo Silva. Gets the shot away. Eriksen eventually, belatedly saved down low to his right by Ederson.
Yeah, just looked like Eriksen, along with a few other players tonight, just thought he had a little bit more time than he did. He eventually got his shot off, but too tame, and it was comfortable for Ederson in the end.
Yeah, not quite sharp. No, the vital moment there. Christian Eriksen, the Spurs goal scorer in the first half. But in truth, they just haven't been at their free-flowing best, Tottenham Hotspur.
Which is a shame, because I think it would have made for a fantastic game this evening, wouldn't it? Two flowing sides, we love to pass the ball and attack. It would have made for a cracking game.
Another example of Spurs on the big occasion, on the big stage, just not quite having enough.
Maybe, yeah, and then another example, another reason why, however good they've been, that they've not actually, gone on to win things.
2 minutes of normal time remaining.
I'd be interested to see how long they remain happy with that statistic. Playing lovely football, being so close and just not quite there. How long did they go with that before they think, right, this isn't good enough? We need to take this to the next level, and we want to win things. We want silverware. Well,
that discussion will start in earnest, I'm sure, depending on how the FA Cup semi-final next week against Manchester United goes. They've got Brighton in the league before then on Thursday night. Again, they really did not want. And maybe that explains a little bit of this lacklustre performance as well, as Laporte is caught by a higher boot there of Lucas Moore and stays down.
That's your man.
Wow. Yaya. We're going to see some minutes here for Yaya Toure. Final 90 seconds of normal time, and since we've last seen him, he's grown a bit of a goatee as well. I'm happy to see Yaya Toure.
Yeah.
One of the best players I have ever seen. I always remember that goal he scored against Villa, which I think was the third, when they confirmed the title the last time around, and He picks it up on the halfway line, just bursts through. This massive man running at this kind of pace.
It's crazy.
It is incredible player. Up to about 2 years ago. And this season the decline has been... It saddens me to see him sitting on the bench not getting a minute.
It is. What I used to love about him is when he used to run around and he'd just look knackered all the time, and the minute the ball come to his feet he would just take off.
He's got some chasing to do here as Lucas Moura has picked the pocket of Laporte, finds the ball out right to Sissoko. Laporte goes to ground. Comes off Sissoko last. Laporte apologises to his teammates. Some Spurs fans thought there was maybe a foul in there. Went to ground Laporte, but he just got plenty of ball before he got Sissoko. It's a very good challenge. Now you've seen Yaya's goatee, have you changed your mind about being happy to see him? I kind of have. Gone right off him. It's not a good look.
Yeah.
That's one of those ones. You're in the mirror, you're shaving, and you're just like, I'm leaving it. And the wife says, you sure? No, I'm doing it, I'm leaving it.
It's the new thing.
Everyone's at it. It's not 1992, mate. Come on. 4 minutes have been added on at the end of the 90 here. City would require 3 points next week if United win against West Brom tomorrow, which you'd imagine they will, to be crowned Premier League champions at home against Swansea. Still be one of the earliest champions in English football history. They'd still have 4 league games remaining. West Ham, Huddersfield, Brighton, Southampton, all teams struggling down the bottom. If they're already champions, a few of those teams might be thinking, we might have an opening here.
Hopefully they'll take the foot off the gas and we've got a little bit of a chance.
Or they might relax and get even better, who knows. Huddersfield, the Hammers, Southampton. Brighton will be hoping it's the former of those two options. Davis comes down the left wing. Cross is blocked by Walker. He hasn't really been given any serious treatment by the home fans.
No, few boos, but nothing major.
Only a year's a good service to Tottenham Hotspur, and £50 million is not a small fee.
And then Trippier comes in and replaces him, who's done really well. So they can't grumble, can they?
Corner comes in. Harry Kane has headed away from goal. Well, that's the kind of day he has had, Harry Kane. Breaks back to Lucas Moura. What an effort on target. Sissoko with another effort. Blocked by Yaya Toure. Super strike by Lucas. But Lucas Moura can't find the back of the net.
Yeah, lovely little turn away from Bernardo Silva there, and he's got some power behind that. And Ederson with a two solid hands.
Swirling away from the goalkeeper, but he's done really well, Ederson. On the corner this time from the right hand side. Eriksen's delivery. Davis is there to flick on. Cleared by City. Back to Eriksen. Eriksen's cross is low. Blocked by Gundogan this time. Eriksen will try and let this ball bounce out of play. He finds Davis instead. His back heel was intercepted by Gundogan. And they've sent everyone forward here, and City can break.
Sterling.
What was he doing there? He poked it straight through to Hugo Lloris.
What a chance that was.
He had a ball to Bernardo Silva. He could have taken it alone and just poked it into nowhere. Guardiola's not happy with that. Arms folded on the edge of the technical area.
If he was your manager, he would frustrate you, wouldn't he, Raheem Sterling?
Well, he could have had a hat-trick today. Has got the one. Son down the right-hand side, looking for a consolation for Spurs. Christian Eriksen out right to Kieran Trippier. Wanted a bit too long there. Trippier back to Eriksen. Loop ball, overhit. And Spurs, I think, are going to need to go back to the drawing board. What was he trying to do there, Raheem Sterling? Was it a pass? Was it a touch into his path?
I think a pass, yeah. I think he knew if he would have just put it into his path, he was in on goal, but terrible execution. I think he was a little bit frustrated with himself there as well.
But he has got his goal, Raheem Sterling. In the game, it's 22 goals for Man City. At least now twice as many as he's ever scored in a season. I mean, it's a great record, isn't it?
It's a fantastic record, but how many could he have had? Easily into the 30s.
I mean, you think about what Mo Salah has done, the step up in his career, and he's through again here, Sterling. Ederson's actually blasted that from the goal kick, almost to him on goal, but couldn't quite control it.
I dread to think how many goals he would have scored if he would have put half the chances away that he
Do you think he's the kind of player that could make the step up in the way we have seen from Salah, from De Bruyne? who have been players that they weren't written off, but they certainly weren't thought of as Player of the Year contenders.
Yeah, I think there is improvements. I think he could improve his game, and I think if he does improve his game, then he will go on to be, a really, really good Premier League player. And that would be great for England as well.
There's the final whistle at Wembley Stadium, and the result has not been in doubt for quite some time. Tottenham were nowhere near at their best, and Manchester City, though they themselves were not at their absolute best, they've secured all 3 points. Jesus and Gundogan in the first half. Gundogan's penalty, controversially awarded, was expertly converted. Christian Eriksen pulled one back towards the end of the first half, but Sterling settled matters in the second period. 3-1 it is finished, and City are just points now away from the Premier League title. Win next week, win for United tomorrow, and they are champions. Analysis to follow. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Premier League football is a truly global game, and